Hello, welcome to RC Video Reviews. In this EdgeTX video, I'm going to show you a really cool new feature on the radio, labels. Way back when EdgeTX first came out, one of the first things that I noticed was they took categories away, and I immediately got a hold of the developers and I said, hey, wait a minute, we need that. So we had this discussion about adding labels as a feature on the radio, and here we are a few months later, and lo and behold, they've added labels to the radio. I can't wait to show you how this works. It's a really cool feature. The best way I can describe this to you is to think about a file cabinet. In the current version of Edge, the way you sort your planes or your quads or your helicopters is that you create categories, and you might call those categories planes, quads, and helicopters. And once you put a model in that category, that's it. It's like a slip of paper in a file cabinet drawer, right? You can either put it in this drawer or that drawer, but you can't put it in both drawers. And that's what Labels aims to fix. It's actually a very cool feature. It is available in the current nightly. They just merged it into main, so if you want to try it out, you'll see it in the new nightly. What I'm not going to do in this video is show you how to flash nightlies, because I've covered flashing the radio in so many prior videos. If you want to try it out, go ahead and flash yourself a nightly. It's in the main branch now. Regarding install, when you do install the nightly that incorporates labels, the radio will make the conversion for you, and there are some file system changes. They're going to use a labels.yaml file, and while in the past we've been able to edit our models.yaml file, you cannot edit the labels.yaml file because it's based on a rescan, and that's how all this magic works. So once you add a label or remove a label, the list is rescanned in real time. That's why you can't edit the labels file any longer. Just keep that in mind. There are some file system changes, and the conversion does happen automatically when you install a firmware that incorporates labels. I also want to mention that you really don't want to put this on a production radio yet because it's a nightly. For me, this is a test radio, and I plan on doing a little bit of testing and giving some feedback, but the feature works really cool. So let's go through it. You can see on my screen, I'm in the model selector. Just to show you, I'll back out and I'm going to long press the model button, and that brings me into the model selector. Now this definitely looks a little different than it used to, because before we'd have categories across the top. In the model selector, you can see there are a group of labels over here on the side, and there's a couple of sort buttons. I had to go dig through the code to figure out what the one on the right is. The one on the left is sort AZ. The one on the right is sort by date. So you can change the sort order of what you see by clicking on these little icons on the bottom. When you click that, it'll change it from Z to A, and then if I click it again, it'll change it from A to Z. And if I want to sort by date, I can click this one, and it'll sort by date, and I guess that's increasing, and then if I press it again, it'll sort by date decreasing. And that does make sense, because that 300 is the last model I added to this radio, so that does make sense to me. Okay, so you have some sort orders. There's no move options just yet. I don't know if they're going to add that or not, but that's okay. We really don't need them when we have labels like this. Okay, I'm going to go back to the sort order of alphabetical, and I'm going to show you how this works. In my models, I've made a couple of various label assignments, and I've created some labels over here on the left. So one of the labels I made is called planes. So I'm going to click on the planes label, and you can see in the planes section, I have only planes. I don't have any helicopters. I don't have any demos. I do let demos on this radio. I don't have any of that. So by clicking on planes, we bring up just planes. Now, if I want to further filter this, I can say, of my planes, which ones are my favorites? So I click on favorites, and I can use this as a filtering mechanism to show me models that I've identified as both an airplane and as a favorite. Very cool, right? So now I can untick favorites, and we can go back to planes, and I can say, well, how many planes and helicopters do I have? Well, none. That doesn't make any sense, right? I don't have any planes that are also helicopters. So when I put that check mark in, I see nothing. When I untick planes, then we go back to just helicopters, and you can see I've got a Tron 7 and a Protos. Now if I click favorites, you can see that I've identified my Tron 7 as a favorite. And if I click on planes, you can see the list goes down to nothing because I don't have any aircraft that are both helis and planes. If I uncheck helis, we go back to our favorite planes. Another option is to say, of my favorite planes, which ones are EF? If I click that, I see just the Extreme Flight Game Bird 1. So this is identified with a label that has favorites, planes, and it's an EF plane. If I take EF off and say, well, show me my favorite PA planes, I can click on that, and there's a favorite PA plane, a Katana. Now let me show you a couple of little tricks about the label management, and then I'll show you how to apply labels in a model, and then we'll wrap this video up. So they've done some very clever things with the label management. In order to manipulate your labels, you're really going to long press over here on the label side, and that brings up a pop-up list. And we have the option in this pop-up list of creating a new label, renaming the label, deleting it, moving it up, or moving it down. So if I want to move my helicopter label up, I can just click on Move Up, and you see that the helicopter is now moved above planes. And if I want to rename a label, all I have to do is long press on that label and I can click rename. And my OCD is very happy they did this too, because they originally set up favorites with proper capitalization. And you can see in my categories, I used all caps. So it was really stressing me out that I had proper capitalization and my initial labels were all caps. But you can go in here and long press and just hit rename, and even the pre-installed labels will work. So you can edit those names as well. So if you want to just call it favorite, you can do that, hit save. And there you go, favorite. You'll notice up on the top right, there's a new model button, but no new category button. I did ask the developers if they'd be willing to add that, so hopefully that'll come out in a future update. We'll see. I don't know. It's up to them. Okay, let me show you how to add a label real quick. It's actually really simple. So in your main page, you click on your model button, and right under model name, there's a section called labels. And when you click on that, you can go in and select what labels you want this to be. So in this case, this is an extra 300 V2, and I have the label set for planes and EF planes. But what if I want to say that's also one of my favorites? I can add that. So see, now we've got favorite, planes, and EF planes all checked. We back out of that and go into our model selector and long press model. I can go up and say, well, we'll take helis off, and then I'll click on favorites, and there's my extra 300. And if I further filter that by saying I want to just see my favorite extreme flight planes, I can click EF planes, and now I've got my GB1 and my extra 300. Very, very cool stuff, very powerful capabilities, and I think you guys get the idea of what you can accomplish with some creative filtering. Think about your labels, and it's easy to change too. It's not like in the old model with categories where you have to go in and create a new category, move stuff around. All you have to do is get your labels set up the way you want, and then just start assigning them in your model setup. It's very simple, and if you want to make some changes, you saw how easy it was to change that 300 and add that to my favorites list. So yeah, I love it, man. Take EF planes off. I'm going to say, well, I want to see my favorite helicopters. Nope, I want to see my favorite planes. Or if I don't want to see favorites at all, I'll just uncheck favorites and I get all my planes. How cool is that? What a neat feature. I just want to say thanks to the EdgeTX developers. You guys are absolutely crushing it. I can't believe the amount of work you guys put into this, and then you donate it to the community. It's just amazing to me. Thank you very much. Well, that's all I've got on EdgeTX labels. If you like this kind of material, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos hit the channel. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy. Hey, and go fly something. Hey, if you like the work I do here on RC Video Reviews, please consider joining me on Patreon. For about the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me keep making videos just like this one. If you'd like to help out, there's a link in the description and on your screen.